Hey there folks, so I'm just on my way home now, taking a slightly different route normally on the way home than I do on the way to work. So again, I'll just be using Autopilot as much as I can, just so you can kind of see how it performs, and hopefully once we get full self-driving dropping fairly soon, hopefully, I'll definitely record another video just to show the difference. So I just engaged it here on the highway. Once I turn onto C1 Street here, I'll be able to engage it again. You can see just how bad it is on this road in particular. It's pretty terrifying, and I do understand that you're not supposed to use it on roads like that, but it's just for the purposes of science. So I can engage it again here. Speed limit is 60, which it'll pick up in a second. I'm that up to 65. Most people go around 70 on this road. Might bump it up to 70. And you can see it's pretty terrifying. Right on this bit, but then yeah, so those sharp winding bends, it's pretty terrifying. There is a chicane at the bottom of this road, which I will show you. Braking hard in the middle of a corner, which is absolutely not a good thing to do. There you go, forward collision warning. Almost swerving into that car. Alright, speed limit's changing down to 50, so I'll change that back to 55. Some cones on the left there, which it's slowing down for. And here comes the chicane, it'll probably have to take over here. Yep. Absolutely wasn't going to make that by itself. I'll just re-enable it here up until we get to the turn off up here. Shout out to that other Highland 1-3. Okay, so it's slowing down for the bend. It does do that, which is cool. Lets you sort of get ready if you're not paying attention. Another 50 section here. Turn it back on. To 70, so let's bump this up. There we go. Bump that up to 75. So in Perth, most drivers go about 5 over the limit, and it's just come into it thinks this is a school zone, but it's not actually school time at the moment. So just have to take over. That's another disengagement. Back up to 70, re-engage. Yeah, so most drivers in Perth go roughly over about 5 k's over the limit, pretty much everywhere. And then on some country roads where you've sort of got that 70 area, a lot of drivers might go sort of around 80. People in Victoria, that sounds crazy to them because their speed limit enforcement is really, really strict. Here the cops won't really touch you unless you're going sort of around 10 over, and speed cameras won't trigger unless you're going 5 k's or over, so you got a little bit of lenience there. I noticed on the Tesla Speedo, it's about 2 k's an hour fast. You can see it's slowing down mid-corner there again. It's about 2 k's an hour fast, so if it says 75 on the Speedo here, you're actually going 73, so you know that's fine. A speed camera is not going to touch you. They are mobile speed cameras that they like to hide. Let's bump that up to 95. Yeah, they do like to hide speed cameras in the bushes sometimes, so you do got to be careful. Make sure you're not going over more than 5 over. This road's pretty good. Nice straight road. Pretty much what Autopilot is built for. So yeah, no issues here. Sometimes kangaroos like to hang out just in the fields to the sides of the road. Every now and then, there's a big field coming up. There might be some of them in there, but the ones around here are normally pretty good. They don't tend to jump out onto the road, but yeah, other areas you got to be pretty careful because you can get kangaroos jumping out, which would be really interesting to see how FSD actually handles that. I'm sure kangaroos are definitely in the Australian data sets. For whatever reason, it's decided that it's going to go 60 here now. Now it's bumped back up to 90. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that kangaroos would be in the Australian FSD datasets, but it will be interesting to see how it reacts. I have had it react Autopilot, just standard Autopilot, react to kangaroos before, but normally it's pretty slow to start reacting. Normally I've hit the brake pedal before Autopilot reacts to a kangaroo, because you've got to be quick, because might not be the first one that gets you, but normally there's a pack of them that follow behind, and so it doesn't slow down at all for this bend, which is a little bit sort of scary. So it's only just starting to slow down now for the intersection coming up. If I'm driving, I'll sort of slow down to 80 for like a bend like that. Okay, so we're turning left onto 2J Road. This one is a 100km/h limit. It's really slow to get up to speed once another car in front of you starts to accelerate. Let's pass this car. It's going a little bit slow. And then re-engage autopilot again. There we go. Sometimes where you got two lanes, that the lane line in the middle disappears and it sort of becomes one lane. It does beep at you sometimes. Normally it doesn't do anything too crazy, but yeah, sometimes if the road widens and it thinks doesn't know whether it's one lane or two lanes, it can sort of swerve into where it thinks a lane is, which can be pretty uncomfortable. Because it's not a gentle swerve either, it's like an aggressive, I'm getting over, which can be very jarring, especially if you're not expecting it. But again, on this road, it's pretty good. This car's going really slow. Come on, Mazda. Doing 80 and 100 there, mate. Come on, what are you doing? Sun glare, it's not too bad just now, but yeah, another sort of half an hour to an hour's time it can get pretty blinding. But yeah, autopilot doesn't seem to be too fussed about the sun most of the time. There is a message that comes up if it's really bad. It'll say visibility reduced, reducing speed. So sometimes that'll happen and it'll slow down a bit. I'm just going to get past this car. Bye bye Mazda 6. Re-engage here. There's another message. Wants you to apply a bit of torque to the wheel because it's a little bit unsure. Drops down to 80 here. Autopilot should automatically adjust. Yep, there it goes. Favourite parts of my commute home is as we get over the hill here, we get a lovely view of Perth City. A little bit hazy today, but yeah, it's pretty nice view coming down from the Perth hills down into the flats. Don't know if you got a chance to see that at all, but the city's just over there. Lots of trees in Perth. You wouldn't notice that it's like a whole suburban area because most of the suburbs are, full of a lot of the natural trees, which is one of the things I really like about Perth. Actually, it doesn't actually look like a city when you're like looking at it from high up above like this. So we've got a right turn coming up here. Because it's such a steep hill, the regen actually gets reduced towards the bottom of the hill here, so I do have to use the brake pedal a little bit, which is pretty rare. Left here. This intersection here, out of interest, is actually where I had a crash on my old Tesla Model 3 2019 SR Plus. Just on that intersection there, some fucking dingo came around, and as you obviously didn't see me, I must have been in his A-pillar or something, cut the corner, he came flying around straight into the front of me and wrote the car off. So now I have this Highland. It's a pretty crappy road actually, this one here. It's very narrow, and yeah, I don't know what's going on with that intersection at the top of the road there, because it's kind of not really a corner, and some people don't think it's an actual intersection, but it is. Yeah, so not good design. Curvature assist sometimes if you're going around like a sharp bend. It just means it's reducing your speed a little bit for the bend. Normally it happens in like after you've already gone around the bend, and then it'll decide to slow down, so it's kind of useless really, but yeah, it is what it is. This is what we got to put up with until we get full self-driving. Pretty scenic road, this one. I do like this road. Got some sheep over there in the paddock. Kind of like where the Perth Hills ends, and you know, it's just sort of kind of like the start of the flat areas, the city plateau. Really big fire a year or maybe 2 years ago that sort of burnt all of this area, all of these hills up here got pretty burnt, but luckily I think no property damage, which was pretty good. Firefighters did a good job. Assist. Disengage and do the turn. Re-engage here, bump it up to 80. Amazing efficiency when you look at it when you're going down the hill. So it says there current drive, we've gone 27 kilometres and 74 watt hours per kilometre. You can see on average I use about 112 to 115 just with my work commute, which is insanely efficient. Yeah, just insanely good. And you can see the lifetime is 125. Big jump over the railway tracks there. Autopilot's quite happy just to send it. Oh, where's this going to? But yeah, this includes like road trips up to Carnarvon, down to Esperance, Albany as well. So on the highway, when you're doing sort of high speed, sort of 110 to 115 k an hour on the highways, it can probably use about 140, 150 watt hour per kilometre. Sometimes if it's hilly, it'll go up to 160 or 170, but that's about as high as it really goes in the Model 3 Highland. It's a really efficient car. It's awesome. So we've got what you would call a unprotected right turn here. So you've got, normally around this time the traffic's pretty heavy, so you kind of got to be a bit brave and just be a bit aggressive when you're pulling out, otherwise you'll just be sitting here all day. So I'd be really interested to see how FSD handles this turn here. You can go to the median here, but it's a little bit awkward, especially if you got a big ute like that, so you probably didn't want to. Start creeping out here. No one coming. So re-engage autopilot here. And normally this is a pretty busy section during the peak hours, so a little bit of traffic here. You can see it's sort of yellow and red. Autopilot's fairly good in the stop-start traffic. It can, when it comes to a complete stop though, it can be a bit aggressive on when it first accelerates, and then realise that it's getting too close to the car ahead, and then sort of hits the brakes a little bit, which can be a bit uncomfortable. But as long as it doesn't come to a complete stop, normally it's fine. See what it does here. Here we're at a complete stop. Let's see what it does. Yeah, it wasn't too bad, but you can see it kind of accelerated a bit too much, and then it had to slow down again because the traffic wasn't moving fast ahead of us. So it can be a bit uncomfortable if you're in stop-start traffic, but hey, it's still better than doing it yourself. Alright, just disengage for the left turn up here. Now for you Americans, this is a give way lane. So instead of having what would essentially be your left on red, same as your right on reds, we tend to have a lot of those give way lanes where you just sort of bypass the intersection there, and then it's just up to you to yield to traffic and go when it's safe. Turning left on a red light is illegal here in Australia. We sort of have those give-way lanes instead. So we've got our first of a few roundabouts. So this is a 2-lane roundabout. Turn right here. Re-engage here as it forms into 1 lane. So that's just road. You can see the sun's getting a little bit more glary now as we about 5 minutes away from home. A lot of glare now, but Autopilot's pretty happy. So coming into our roundabout, so it will actually stop at the edge of the intersection there by itself, and then will require you to take over. Just going to push it through here myself. Normally I'd drive most of this myself anyway, just because it's a bit of a pain in the ass just to be disengaging, and oh, big phantom brake. Don't know what that was about. Yeah. Another example of the state of Autopilot. And we'll be going right at this roundabout. Nice curvy road here. Oh, yeah, pretty uncomfortable. If I'm driving manually, I'll sort of cut that corner and round it out a little bit, because it's a pretty steep bend there, but yeah, Autopilot just loves to stick within the lane lines. Hopefully FSD will sort of be a bit more casual about that. Okay, I'll probably end the video there. Thanks for watching. Yeah, I'll probably post another video of the same drive again once we get FSD. Thanks for watching.